So I'm Jeff,
And I'm John.
and we are the
The
J
J
and
and
J
J
Show,
Show.
Tools, Technology, and Training. And this is the second Wednesday of the month, and the second Wednesday of the month is sponsored by 180 Biz with Rick White, and there he is right there. Say howdy, Rick.
Howdy.
Rick.
I'm getting my Texas on.
Howdy,
Get your
folks.
Texas on.
Yeah,
And
I
of course,
tried
we
taking
got
it off in the shower, but it wouldn't come off.
It is a thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, it's like a tick, baby. I'll tell you what.
special guest Gary Keys from ACA, Florida, where Rick will be in about another month.
A
Yeah,
month
four
from
weeks.
today, actually.
4 weeks. Yeah.
4 weeks.
Yeah, just almost because it's on the 15th. So
14.
and we want to say a special thank you to Brad Edwards for joining us at
Plainview, Texas.
Plain
Just
View.
a plain view.
That's what you see out there, just a plain view. Or a
Oh,
view of the
dog. Listen, Brad's dog runs away. You get to watch it run away for 3 days.
Yeah.
So we're having a comedy hour along with the training, and Rick does a lot of things in the industry as far as some free events. We see a lot of requests out there for guys wanting to know about coaches and training and all of the stuff like that. And the big deal with coaching is a lot of these companies want to bring you in and they want you to sign a contract, or it's like, okay, they bring you in, then you're assigned to somebody over here. Rick is a little bit different in everything that he does, and one of the deals he does is actually tomorrow. It's always the second Thursday of the month, and it's called Shop Owners Roundtable. So since my co-host isn't chiming in on any of that, Rick, explain what all that is. They can catch it
My
up.
job.
So I'm pretty blessed. Everybody that's here right now has been on that Shop Owners Roundtable at one time or another. And it's our way of giving back to the industry, helping shops that maybe want some guidance or some help in an area, but don't have a coach right now, can't afford it, whatever. We wanted to have a way where they could have contact with somebody that would be able to help them. And so that's what we do once a month. And we are very, very careful to make sure they're shop owners. We actually vet every one of them. If it's a service manager, advisor, tech, or somebody that's not even in the industry, we don't let them in because we want it to be a safe place. What's that?
You actually pick up the phone and call them, don't you?
Well,
if you need to.
Yeah, we haven't yet, but we send them an email. If we don't hear back from them, we basically go, you're out. Because we just want to make sure it's a safe place where people can talk. And you don't have to worry about an advisor popping up and going, what do you mean? I work really hard or something like that. And for the advisors listening, you guys do work, and gals. Guys is a non-gender specific term in the Northeast.
Amen.
So y'all work really hard, but this is a safe place for shop owners. That's what we do. And it's to help them run their businesses better, right? You know, everybody thinks you own a shop, you're making $1 million. And trust me, you're not. So
Gary did when he had his shop.
Yeah, that's why I'm retired now.
Right. Rick was sharing with me that a lot of times there's companies out there, whether they're single shop owners, you know, one man shops, or have a whole bunch of guys working for them like John does, or even MSOs. And a lot of times they'll be like making a lot of bucks running through the account, but they'll say, I ain't making any money. I'm in debt. I owe so and so. I owe all these deals.
I thought that was the idea, was to be in debt and owe a bunch of money.
So that's where a platform like the Shop Owners Roundtable comes in.
You see all these shop owners brag on different forums. Well, I'm a $2 million a year shop, and then, but at the end of the day, so if you got $2 million in sales and you're $100,000 in the hole, you know, you might be better off scaling back or getting some training, some education, and find out why you're not making the profit.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody focuses on the sales number. Tell me what the net profit number is.
Exactly. That's the only number that matters. So I don't care how much you sell, because you may be a tire store. You can sell $5 million a year and lose $500,000,
Amen.
at the end of the day. So the net's the key, net numbers are key.
That's it. And unfortunately, most business owners out there today, they really don't understand their numbers. And what they're doing is they're running their business based on a bank balance, sales number, and a gut feel. And it is super, super scary. In fact, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight is we're in September. Y'all should be thinking about your taxes. I mean, I hate to be the guy to say that T word, but don't wait until December or January or February or April and say, oh my God, I owe this money and I ain't got it. You want to be putting money away every single month for your taxes, separate account, so that at the end of the year, you've got it covered. So and this is also a good time to sit down with your accountant, your CPA, and do some tax planning. Don't wait till the end of the year. Sit down now, bring them out for dinner, bring them out for lunch, sit down with your accountant, your CPA, have them look at the books, where you're headed, what you're averaging out, what does it look like, what do you got set aside, how much have you paid in quarterlies? Because please understand, your quarterlies are based on last year's taxes.
Yep.
If you've had an increase in sales, you're going to pay more taxes. In fact, I tell people all the time, as a business coach, it's my goal to get you to pay more taxes.
And you done me right.
Yeah, I want you to pay more taxes. That's the way it is. Because when you're making when you're paying more taxes, yeah, you're going to give the government 30%. You get to keep 70.
Amen.
Okay. So that's what we want. It's funny. I had a shop owner out in Northwest, and he called me up. Yes. And I said, what's the matter? He says, I owe an extra $60,000 in taxes. And I said, yeah. He goes, it's all your fault.
All your fault. So is that a good phone call or a bad phone call? I don't understand.
Well, I said, well, why are you so stressed out? He said, well, I paid cash for my $300,000 boat.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And I said, and let me ask you a question. I said, how much did you make in profit, extra profit this year? He said $400,000. And I said to him, I said, can I ask you a question? He goes, what's that? I said, who's your damn CPA?
Amen.
That's a good number. I mean, 400,000 to 60,000, that is a good number.
Yeah, so, good ratio. I like that one.
So it's one of those things where you've got to make sure you're putting that money aside based on what you're doing now. Okay. In fact, I have a really cool spreadsheet. If you'll send me an email to rick@180biz.com, I'll make it available to you. Okay. So just it basically, you put in your profit every month. It tells you how much to put in the bank. Right. You tell it. It's really pretty cool. You tell it what your net profit was on your P&L in QuickBooks. You tell it what you paid in taxes, and it will figure out a percentage to pull out every month based on those two numbers. Okay. And it's also set up for federal and state, and it works really, really well. So if anybody wants that to help out, I'd be happy to give that to you.
And so many people look at their checking account and say, I got 60 grand in the checking account. I'm gonna go down and buy a new truck, and don't realize that 60 grand is not theirs. Uncle Sam owns half. Social Security owns half, and everybody else has got their hands in the till. So, yep. As John would say, ching ching, ching ching,
just ching, baby.
Now that's going out. It's not cha-ching going out.
No.
I have a client who's with me again, and when we first started coaching, he had a huge jump in sales, and it came tax time, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do?" And I said, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Well, I've been spending like a drunken sailor."
Yep. Yeah.
I said, "Well, we're in trouble."
Time
Now
to,
you feel like
time
a
to-
drunken sailor.
time to sober up.
You know, and it's funny when a company gets in trouble, the first place they start to borrow money from is the taxes. And it
Yeah,
is the worst place to do it.
absolutely. Yeah, that's
Amen.
worse than loan
Nobody
shark.
will charge you a higher interest rate. It was funny. I've owed the IRS money before. Trust me, it is not fun. Okay. And I said to them, I said, well, you're charging me like 30% interest. She goes, no, sir, we're charging you penalties and interest. And I said,
Penalties,
okay.
yeah.
So I said, so how do you calculate the interest? She goes, well, it's a percentage of what you owe. And I said, well, how do you calculate the penalties? Oh, it's a percentage of what you owe. I said, that's just damn interest in a different pair of pants. Right?
It's
said,
compounded interest.
Oh, yeah. And I said, and you put people in jail for this.
I had a shop owner when I first got into the business back in the 80s, and he had a nice shop in town, but he was running a little tight, and he decided to hold off on his taxes. Well, by the time they caught up with him, they took his shop, they took his RV, they took his 2 cars. The only thing he kept was his house. Put him out of business and took everything he owned, basically. Yeah.
They'll take your retirement. They'll take everything.
All right.
So don't take a
Don't
loan out against the government, number one. But that's what happens. First thing that happens with cash flow, when you don't have enough cash flow, you pay your bills, you pay your payroll, you do what you got to do, and then sales tax comes and you ain't got the money.
Yeah.
Right? Or your quarterlies come for the state or federal and you don't have the money. It's a problem, and it snowballs fast.
Yep.
Amen.
It really snowballs fast. So make sure you're not doing that. If you're in trouble with the tax stuff, reach out. I'll talk to you. Come out to the Shop Owners Roundtable. We'll talk. Right?
Yes.
I'm telling you now, my coaching comes from a closet full of t-shirts that say been there, done that. Right? I've made every possible mistake you can make in owning a shop.
Said, and owning a shop.
And owning a shop. And owning a shop.